Well, there's a little bit of a fun intro, huh? I love that song. It always sounds like a James Bond song, doesn't it? Kind of like you're in the chase and the bad guy's getting away and you're going to pursue him. And then, of course, he has no chance when you've got a team like Mr. Bean and Herr Obermeister and, of course, Dr. Singer. They're going to catch the bad guy. They just will. Doesn't have a chance. But I thought I would open this this premiere for this unboxing, a machine that was sent to me by James and Bobbie, excuse me, James and Bobbie, who live in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. They kind of go back and forth between Wisconsin and Florida. And they happen to be up in Wisconsin right now for a couple more months or so. And they had sent me a special machine that's been in the family for quite a while. And Bobbie uses it through her church to sew toiletry bags for the homeless. So the machine really does have an awesome mission. And right now, with it kind of on a commission, that mission is kind of on hold. The church is asking for more toiletry bags to help the homeless, and there's not a lot that can be done. Bobbie has a backup machine in Elna, made in Switzerland. I almost said Switzerland, but it's just not able to handle the thicker seams, James said. So I'm going to do my best to get this machine on the workbench as soon as possible so that Bobbie can get back to this important mission through her church, helping the homeless, making toiletry bags. But I'm also showing you this opening with the landing page showing the number of subscribers and the number of views, I think, as well. Just to point out that we are quickly approaching the next major giveaway. And I've already told you that for the next major giveaway, we're going to be taking a trip to Norway, to the neck of the woods where Hans Christian lives. And I'm going to be giving away a Swedish beauty. And Hans and I are working behind the scenes right now to put together that contest. And, you know, it's going to have similar attributes to what we've done recently with the other major contests, but it's going to have some new twists to it as well that Hans and I are coming up with to make it really interesting as we travel over to the beautiful country of Norway. And we're only, as you can see with the number of subscribers, we're only about 170 subscribers away from hitting that milestone of 9,000 subscribers. And we're gaining, again, about 250 to 300 subscribers a month. So I would say in the next, depending on how things go, in the next 2 to 4 weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to be hitting that milestone of 9,000 subscribers and unveiling what the next contest is, unveiling what that Swedish beauty is that I'm going to be giving away, and what you need to do to win it. And I also might do kind of an impromptu contest as well when we hit 2 million unique views on this channel. As you can see, we're probably about less than 80,000 views shy of it right now, but I really would like to do something special when we hit the 2 million unique views. And again, unique views are individuals that have come to this channel. YouTube tracks it very carefully. They don't count the same person twice. So we've had quite a bit of traffic coming to the channel. And again, over 80% of the people that come to this channel never click subscribe. It blows my mind. It really does. But it is what it is. And I'm hoping that more and more people will step out of the shadows and will click subscribe so that when we do contests, when we do other premiere release announcements, they're going to be in the VIP track to learn about that and to know what's going on. Right, Mr. Bean? Yeah. And Herr Obermeister. And of course, Dr. Singer. So, have any of you ever heard of the small community that Bobbie and James reside in? during the summertime at least. St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. So I thought I would pull up a little bit of kind of a fun facts that they use for teaching kids about this community, and just kind of let you know some of the basic things about this community. If I can get my camera adjusted. So, show you a picture of the community first, or at least one of the shots that they have on their website when you go to it. Actually, I'll show you a bunch of pictures. How's that sound? Pictures are what? Worth 1,000 words? So obviously the St. Croix River is a central point of the community. And there's a lot of tributaries as well, as I was just reading some of the quick little fun facts that they have set up for kids. But doesn't that look like a lovely community? The river kind of bending through, and then the woods on either side, and beautiful bridge going across the river there as well. Another shot of St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. Doesn't that look like a perfect river to go canoeing on or something? Just gorgeous. And there's, I assume, St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin downtown area. I think they have a population of right around 2,000. So it's a smaller community. It's actually smaller than Oconto, Wisconsin. Scroll up here. Oops, I'm on the wrong side. Show you a couple more pictures of where James and Bobbie are from, at least during the summertime. They come up this way. Beautiful area. It looks like a dam, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, there's a more distant shot of the dam holding the river back. So it looks like a lovely community. I just like, I try to remember to do this, and I oftentimes don't remember. But it's fun to show where the machines have been sent from. And St. Croix Falls looks like a lovely, lovely place to visit. Let's see, couple quick little fun facts. Nothing dramatic. And if you want to find something really interesting, something really unique about the community, and nothing that I've already mentioned, like the population being around 2,000, etc. But you could post it in the chat, and I might send you something really special. What else? I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting. I know that they used to be a logging community. And I won't mention any of the other fun facts just because I'm inviting you to post something. Yeah, there's a number of things that you could possibly post and mention that are interesting about this community that I think it looks like it was established. Does it tell me? It says history, but it doesn't give the date that they were established. It just references the date 1745. So, at any rate, looks like a lovely community, and why don't we move forward, because I'm not finding a lot of clear facts right away, and I'm probably just not looking in the right spot, but maybe you'll find something super interesting about where Bobbie and James live during the summertime when they're not in Florida, and you can post it and maybe win something cool. But in the meantime, let's go over here and look at this box that James and Bobbie sent with this special machine that Bobbie uses again to make toiletry bags for the homeless through a church mission and ministry type thing that they do, which I think is awesome. And I would say all in all, this box that they sent is a lot better than some of the recent ones that have come through. It does look like it, even in the short distance, I should say relatively short distance that it traveled from St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin to Oconto, Wisconsin, it looks like it got beat up a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. If you look at the bottom of the box, and I always talk about the bottom of the box just because that's most likely going to be the area that gets beat up, because the people that are shipping it, you know, moving it along, are anxious to get it moving along, and they drop it and they do all kinds of other things. So you can see we have the side of the box partially torn open. You can see some of the packing peanuts kind of sticking through. See if I can pull one out. Yep. So it just goes to show you that if any of you have ever thought, well, Scott just goes, I mean, he's obviously a master packer, but he sometimes just goes overboard. I mean, do you really need to do all of that to protect a vintage sewing machine? This is some of the unexpected stuff that can happen. And again, the distance between where James and Bobbie are and where I am is not like, you know, it traveling across the country. It's traveling within the state. Matter of fact, I'm curious. Let's see here. Distance from St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin to Oconto, Wisconsin.
The drive from St. Croix Falls to Oconto is 280.7 miles.
It's only 280 miles, folks. About 280 miles, less than 300 miles from where James and Bobbie shipped this from to the workshop. So you can see, even in a shorter distance of 300 miles, I mean, let's face it, I've sent machines all around the world, and even in a short distance, something like this can happen. And if it happened to the outside of the box like this, we don't know what we're going to find inside. But we will find out soon enough. And James and Bobbie have been very patient as I've been trying to catch up with the workload at the workshop. You may be able to see on the top of the box, and by the way, these are great labels that they made as well. It looks like they may have printed them up on a a printer at home or something like that, but you can see they've really tried to send the message: do not drop, it's heavy, it's fragile, and keep this end up, by the way. But you can see this this box actually arrived on July 16th. So it's been a while. It's been over a month that it's been waiting to get to the workbench for this unboxing. So it just gives you an idea of how busy and hectic things are at the workshop, which I'm very, very thankful for. Very thankful to be busy and, to have all these incredible machines that folks are sending to the workshop for me to have the privilege of working on. But again, patience is a virtue, as they say, and James and Bobbie have really tried to exhibit, I think, that virtue as they've been waiting patiently for this unboxing, which eventually will lead to the machine coming back onto the workbench and me having an opportunity to work on it. And you're probably really curious what the machine is. Well, I'm not going to tell you yet. If James and Bobbie are part of this premiere, I think they were planning on trying to attend. Then I would strongly encourage them, if they want to step out of the shadows and field questions, as people guess what the machine might be. If James and or Bobbie are part of the premiere, they can certainly say, "Up, way cold, not even close," or "Yep, you're getting warmer, really close." However they want to field those guesses. I think that would be a lot of fun. I love to involve the owners in that process. I love to involve the owners. So this is like one of the shortest songs on the library of pieces that YouTube gives me to use as a creator. Not the first one we played. That's fairly long. That's called Downtown Metropolis Chase. Downtown Metropolis Chase was the opening song that we started with. Kind of the James Bond type song. But this real short one that I'm talking about is only 8 seconds long, and this is what it sounds like. That's it. I mean, let's face it, if you had a jukebox, and you younger folks that have no idea what a jukebox is, Google it. But if you stuck a quarter into a jukebox and that's all you got for a quarter, I think there'd be a little bit of trouble. I would not be a happy camper. So let's put on something kind of mellow. It says happy, but I kind of previewed it and it's a little bit on the mellow side. But this is called Cocktails. Cocktails. Here we go. Feels like we've got a pretty good gap point at the top. Maybe too much of a gap point, we'll see. But I'm going to set my blade so it doesn't cut too deep, but I think we've got enough room clearance, it feels like. Oh, super. So what James and Bobbie have done is this machine is obviously experiencing some challenges right now, and I don't always get this from owners, but they've actually enclosed some of the stitch offs showing the issues going on. Let me show you. Obviously it looks like a tension issue, doesn't it? Especially like right up here. Here's the other side of it. So showing you this sew-off that they did to kind of demonstrate what issues they might be experiencing with this machine, you can tell straight away that it's probably not, unless it has a zigzagging attachment, it's probably not one of the standard Singer models that is set up as a straight stitch, because we've got a clear zigzag displayed right there. So that's one of the sew-offs that Bobbie and James sent. Looks like we got some other ones as well. And they're also having some cam output issues. Apparently this top stitch right here, this upper row, is supposed to be a cam generated stitch, and it's not even coming close to generating the proper stitch output, which could be a variety of different issues for this machine. But here at least they're getting a pretty solid output of that zigzag. That's looking pretty good. But that top row is definitely looks like it's way off. I'll turn it around, look at the back side. And this must be, I'm looking inside of the box, you may not be able to see it, but this must be the toiletry type bag that Bobbie makes to help the homeless. So I'm going to put on another song. By the way, the last one we did, well, I told you, it's called Cocktails. And now I'm going to put on something called Big Top. And you've heard this Big Top one before. And my search when I pulled up these songs, because I thought that James and Bobbie might enjoy it, was big band. So whatever I play came up under that search. Whether or not it's completely accurate is another thing to be discussed. But here's a song called Big Top. So let's take a look at this toiletry bag that Bobbie makes to help out the homeless. It's really cool, and it's definitely a vinyl material. And she's written on here with some tape that this should be straight, but appears to be a zigzag. So she's getting different outputs. When she's setting it on straight stitch, she's actually getting something totally different. But you can't feel this bag with your hands. You're just seeing it through the Premiere. But it appears to be a real heavy-duty, well-made bag. And I can see where these seams on the side would definitely be a challenge for Bobbie's Elna. Elnas are not really equipped and set up to do this type of sewing very well compared to a Pfaff. And you can see here she's having some issues as well on those edges. Boy, that burgundy just messes with the light, doesn't it? Totally. So this is probably supposed to be a straight stitch down here on the bottom. And as she showed on her little note she wrote on this bag, it's coming out more like a zigzag variation. That's one of my, I like that song. That's a lot of fun, isn't it? And you know, this zigzag variation to finish off a seam on the edge like that is it's passable, but again, if the owner is setting the machine on straight stitch, you should be getting a true straight stitch, not a zigzag variation like this. So obviously some adjustment issues, some tension issues, a number of things going on. And here you've got, her note says, crooked stitching or broken needles off center is what she writes. And I'll try to get close enough that you can see it, hopefully. Yeah, Herr Obermeister, you probably can't hear him, but he's whispering to me, that's a sick machine. A sick machine. Yeah, it's definitely not a happy German machine. It's not doing what it should be doing. And then Bobbie has Velcro on the top of here so that the folks that benefit from these great toiletry bags that she makes are able to, you know, close it up so that, you know, the stuff stays clean and they don't lose anything. I mean, if they're without a home and they're probably living on the streets or some other provisions, and they need to be able to keep this stuff dry and keep it clean, and this looks like the perfect bag that Bobbie is making to do that. And then inside of the bag there's a little card. I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see it. Isn't that nice? Made especially for you, this toiletry bag was handmade by a volunteer of weather-resistant fabric to make your personal items clean and dry. Please reuse it. Do not throw it away. When you no longer need the bag, please donate it to the next homeless person you meet. Stay safe and healthy. So, quite a great mission that Bobbie has through her church in making great bags like this. And now we have the privilege, we in the sense of Herr Obermeister, Mr. Bean, Dr. Singer, and myself, we now have the privilege of helping this machine to do a better job of helping Bobbie to make these bags to benefit the homeless. And we're going to do that. We're going to get that done, no doubt. So, really a cool project, Bobbie. If you're attending this premiere, my hat's off to you. When I was in Germany, I had the privilege a couple of times. I met a guy that actually ran a used car lot right off of base near Hanau, Germany, and he invited me to come along with him to go to downtown Frankfurt, Germany, where there was, and a lot of people wouldn't assume this about Germany, but at least back then, there were a number of homeless missions and a number of homeless Germans that were living on the streets. And we had a chance to show love to them, show support, show kindness, and also trying to feed their discouraged hearts and souls with the good news of the gospel. So that was truly, as I look back at my time in Germany, that was probably one of the greatest honors, is when you can give people a reason to have hope, a reason to have joy, a reason to, even in their difficult circumstances, to want to get up in the morning and to live as full of a life as they possibly can. And hopefully that their situation will get better. So, good stuff, very good stuff. We are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. So it's great when we can be a source of encouragement through great projects like this that Bobbie does, and certainly others that are serving the homeless and others that are disadvantaged in other ways as well. So, all right, let's do the big conference. The big conference is the next one. And I'm going to get a container for the peanuts because it looks like James and Bobbie have blessed me with peanuts. These are the coolest peanuts ever. Take a look at that. It's shaped like a star. I honestly have never seen peanuts shaped like a star before. Yes, I'm entertained easily. I know. Even a little baby one. I'm going to drop the whole thing of peanuts here. Little baby one. The mama. Baby. Mama. Mama. Baby. Well, I'm not sure what this is about, but I've got chunks of wood that are in here as well. I hope that's not part of a base or anything. And twigs. As I knock things off the workbench. Well, I know that you haven't seen much of the machine. You really can't see much of it. If I tilt the box, you might be able to see more of it. But to give you a guess, or to give you help in guessing, I should say, I will tell you that this particular machine that James and Bobbie have sent would be of particular interest to Herr Obermeister, because it comes from the great country of Germany. It comes from the great country of Germany. Or as you say in German, Deutschland. It comes from Deutschland. All right, the next one is called Pop in Gold. Pop in Gold. All right, I think I can get the machine out now. And the wrap that James and Bobbie put around this machine is pretty transparent. Maybe more translucent than transparent, but get ready to type in the chat your guesses. Again, I've already told you the machine is of particular interest to Herr Obermeister because it comes from Germany, and maybe you'll be able to zero in on what this machine is and what the model is. So it looks like they put a board, some sort of a particle board in the bottom to reinforce the bottom. But it looks like, if you look real close, if you're going to be able to see that or not, but right down here, there's actually a punch through on this particle board, which probably means they did not pad the cast feet very well. And that machine was kind of bouncing up and down in the box. And one of the legs actually punched a partial hole. See if I can light it up for you. Can you see that? So hopefully we don't have any damage to the machine as far as the cast legs. Again, that's the only challenge with shipping one of these machines is they have cast feet on the bottom. Yeah, we have the same thing on this side. So keep your fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed that we don't have a broken foot on one of these on this machine. So, all right, let me bring it over here in plain view. Like I said, it's pretty transparent. You're probably able to see pretty well what that machine might be. But we will continue with the unboxing. I'll zoom in a little bit closer to give you more of a chance to venture a guess. And again, post your guesses in the chat if you'd like to give it a try. And if you nail it, if you're first to nail it before I mention it, then I'll send you something special. I'll give you another clue. You already know that Herr Obermeister is keenly interested in this machine. It comes from Germany, and it was born right around and this is based on the owner's information. I haven't verified this yet, but based on what the owners told me, it's born right around 1955. Okay? All right, a little bit more music, and we will continue the process. So that was Pop in Gold. The next one is called Frame of Mind. Frame of Mind. Well, if it's playing, it's really quiet. Hold on a second. I'm having to restart it. I bumped the wrong button and then it wouldn't, we already heard this song. Then it wouldn't stop the song, so I'm trying to reboot the page real quick so we can play a different song. Oh, interesting. It's saying I have no internet. No internet, huh? Nope, now I do have internet. Hold on a second. All right, let's try this again. All right, this one again is called Frame of Mind. So yeah, some of this extra stuff in the box is really a little bit of a mystery. It almost looks like it was part of a bowl or something. That's some heavy wood. Look at that grain, isn't that gorgeous? So I don't know what the story is on this. James and or Bobbie, if they're attending the premiere, they can probably say, "Oh yeah, we know what that is. Can we have it back?" Of course. But it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. All right, let me get a quick drink and we'll continue with this. I almost wonder if they packed this outside or something, you know? They might have packed this like out on the patio or something. Because you get all these little remnants of almost like tree bark and, you know, like I showed you before, there's little twig pieces as well, kind of intermingled in the packing material. So, yeah, I have no idea. But it definitely makes it interesting. long as we don't have any critters crawling out. All right, get ready to type, because we only have a real thin layer of bubble wrap on here, and you can pretty much see through it. So here we go. Get ready. All right, get your fingers warmed up. Get your fingers warmed up. Get ready to type it. Make and model, make and model, make and model, make and model. Here we go. There's a real clear shot of it, and I'm not looking at the chat, so I don't know if you've typed in it or not, and I don't know if Bobbie and or James have confirmed whatever you've typed as far as your guess, but I'll zoom in even a little bit closer and make it super easy for you. Well, I can tell you this is definitely does not look like an original foot controller for this model, which I'm about to name right now. So if you haven't typed in a guess yet, you better start typing. For this model, FOF 530, 230. Alpha So, yeah, somebody bought this aftermarket. This is a replacement foot controller, and it always makes me a little bit uneasy. I'm checking real carefully before I misstate. Oops! Now I didn't have the camera locked in place. I'm going to check very carefully before I make a misstatement. But with a number of these aftermarket foot controllers, they do not tell you what it's rated at. You can see on the bottom here it just says Alpha So, but there's no nomenclature information on the bottom of the foot controller, as there normally would be, telling you what is it rated at. Is it rated at 0.6 amps, 0.7? Is it rated at an amp? Is it rated at 1.2 amps, which is where it would need to be? It would need to be rated at right around 1.2 amps to be properly matched with this FOF 230. If it's less than 1.2 amps, we've got a potential problem with this foot controller potentially overheating, and in extreme cases, you could even have a fire hazard. And I'm checking all sides of this foot controller that are with James and Bobbie's machine. There's nothing. So whoever manufactured this, in my opinion, did a disservice in not putting any information on it at all to tell the potential buyer of it, the new owner of it, what is it rated at, so I know if I'm properly matching it with a machine like this FOF 530, or am I going to be potentially putting myself at risk or the foot controller that I bought by matching it with a machine that when it peaks is going to be pulling about 1.2 amps. So again, remember, the simple rule is your foot controller should always be rated higher. It should have a higher voltage tolerance. It should have a higher amperage tolerance than the machine motor. So if the machine motor is 1.1 amps, the amperage tolerance on the foot controller should be just a little bit higher, right around 1.2 amps. And we have no way of knowing, because the maker of this didn't take the extra second to put a a label on here or stamp it in some way with what the amperage tolerance is on this foot controller. So that makes me a little bit uneasy. And I could certainly ask Bobbie and ask James if, as they've been operating this machine, have they had any issues with the foot controller getting warm or getting hot. If they have, then we probably are looking at a foot controller that is mismatched with this FOF 230. So I'll just show you this stuff again. I'm always beating up these air pillow things. Here we have 3 rows or columns, since I'm holding it like this, 3 columns of airbag protection. All 3 of them, row number or column number 1, column number 2, and column number 3 are all popped. So again, pick your packing material carefully. Try to pick bubble wrap, or if you're going to buy the airbag stuff that is chambered separately, so that you've got a better chance of it actually arriving still protecting that machine. So I'll tell you one thing. My first observation is this balance wheel is not turning freely. It's real stiff, super stiff, and that may just be a matter of it needs proper lubrication and cleaning, but it's definitely not turning freely. Definitely not turning freely. Yeah, I think we just did frame of mind. The next one is called farther ridden. Farther ridden. I was just checking these pedestal feet to make sure that none of them were cracked or damaged because of what we saw on the bottom of the box with that piece of particle board that was put in the bottom as a reinforcement, where these legs had literally punched through in 2 areas on that. But it looks like we were very fortunate because they were not really protected at all. And if you ship a machine like this to the workshop and it has pedestal style feet like this, like that, and like that over there, you definitely want to give a real good cushion base to your packing to protect these from getting snapped off. I've had machines like this arrive to the workshop with the pedestal feet actually snapped off. And it doesn't take much because this is a cast material, so it has little air pockets because of the way the material is cast, and so it is vulnerable to a strong impact of cracking it right off. So take the extra step of really padding the bottom of those pedestal feet so that you don't have the misfortune of having that machine arrive damaged. And you can see on this model 230 we have dual cleated belts that drive the machine. They look like they might be a little bit dried out, but I'm not seeing any major fraying on them. So they should be serviceable for the machine. And if you've never seen the bottom of one of these machines before, if you look real closely, you can see how those cleated belts actually fit into notch pulleys so that there's absolute positive traction. There's no, as long as those belts have not stretched out of shape, there's just no possibility of slippage once you launch. with that machine. So one of the great features and why they do so well generally with heavy duty sewing is the cleated design of that drive system. It really is phenomenal. So all in all, it looks like Bobbie has done a really good job of keeping the machine generally clean. You know, there's a little bit of varnishing down over here, but all in all, the machine is in seems to be well maintained. And don't panic if you happen to be extremely observant and you go, okay, where's the bobbin case? The bobbin case, I noticed Bobbie or James, whoever packed it, actually put it right on top. They taped it to the bed. So this is the bobbin case right here. And I'm not sure why they didn't just leave it in the machine, but it's fine that they took it out. As long as you have the machine, you know, sealed with stretch wrap and bubble wrap real well. Otherwise, you can get junk that gets into the raceway area. Okay, the next one is called Innocence. Innocence. So I'm really happy to see that none of the pedestal feet were damaged. Happy to see that I have an owner that has done a generally very good job in maintaining a cleanliness of the machine. Now, do any of you know on the FOF 530 on this 230 where the serial number is for it? Because the owners told me that they believe that the machine is from 1955 and they would have had to use the serial number to look it up to get that information. So where is the serial number on a FOF 230? Where is it? Kind of zoom out a little bit. If you want to type it into the chat and you get it right, I'll send you something special. Okay? Tell me where the serial number is on the FOF 230. Now I'm not going to give you a lot of time because what you're going to do is you're going to Google it instead of just knowing it. So I'm going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you don't have it typed in right now, it's not an acceptable answer because it's late. I'll zoom right in on the serial number. So on the FOF 230, the serial number is on a stamped plate, which is just below the bed, about center on the machine. And that is the serial number. And I obviously haven't had a chance to look it up, but if anyone, just for fun, wants to look it up and confirm that Bobbie and James are correct, that it is from 1955, that would be awesome. I'll just leave it there for a second, so if you need to jot it down, if you want to look it up, that would be really cool. And you'll be on my you'll get an A in the class for the day if you can do that. Speaking of that, I am totally remiss. We've been in class for how long now, and I didn't ring the bell. And that actually is a school bell. It's a real school bell. I'll leave the serial number for a second and just show you the bell. I don't know if I've shown it to you yet. And I got this bell secondhand, and it was actually given to a teacher or an educator at one point. It reads on here, it may be hard to see it, but I'll hold it up to the camera anyway. It actually reads, see if I'll bring it up to the camera. Yeah, you can kind of see that. The lighting isn't phenomenal, but And I'm not moving it to irritate you. I'm moving it because it kind of wraps around, so it's giving you a chance to see all sides of it. But in essence, what it says is, for years of dedicated teaching from AEA. I have no idea what AEA stands for. It's some sort of school district somewhere. So if anybody knows what AEA is, as far as a school district, I'm assuming somewhere in the U.S., this was given to an educator at some point, presumably. And they gave it up, and I ended up having the privilege of getting it for our classroom here at Cal Country. And it really is a beautiful bell. It's well made. It's got a lot of beautiful engineering and design that went into it. So I love it. And it's got a beautiful ringtone. It's not a tinny sound. It's kind of a rich sound. So I don't know if any of you have actually looked up that serial number. If you haven't, then I can, as I get this machine eventually back on the workbench. It's not going to be on the workbench right away. I've got a number of machines waiting, but I'll see if I can verify the serial number and the dating of the machine, just so we know. But this really is, a 230 is a fabulous machine, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the machine that I restored recently and repaired for Debbie Gavin that was sent back out to Pennsylvania. I think that was a 230 as well, wasn't it? Yeah, pretty sure. So let me put on another piece of music. We'll come off the tripod. We'll kind of go around this machine a little bit. And I'll be curious, just make sure the presser foot is up. Again, never operate a machine with the presser foot down, because the feed dogs will tear up whatever presser foot attachment you have on there. They are not gentle at all. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm plugging this in real quick. All the wiring appears to be good. The only thing in question is the foot controller. So I'm going to plug it in and just check the lighting system real quick on delivery. We'll fire the machine up just to see how it runs with this foot controller that I'm kind of uncertain about. So this next song is called Home. Welcome Home. Well, obviously the light was turned on. The lighting is actually looking pretty good, isn't it? I wonder if we already have an LED bulb. And we do. This is a different style than mine. I'll show you the difference. But Bobbie definitely has an LED light bulb in there. I can tell right away by the lighting. So these LED lights are set up that they will have different numbers of lighting chambers, which will dictate how bright that bulb is going to be and how much light it's going to put out evenly. And Bobbie's is a slightly different style. I'll kind of hold it up to the camera here. So this is Bobbie's right here. You can see it has basically a single line chamber of lights, LED type lighting systems on here. This is the one that I use. So in all likelihood, I think that if I end up replacing Bobbie's, and I'll certainly send this back as a backup, but if I put this one in, based on the number of lighting chambers that it has compared to this one, yeah, I think we're gonna definitely help her out in having visibility even better down at the needle and you know, on the bed as she's doing her good work of making these toiletry bags for the homeless. So I'll probably do that if she doesn't object. I'll put one of my bulbs in, just complimentary, and then send this one back as a backup for her, or she could use it in another machine that she has. It probably won't work in her Elna, but this will definitely, I think, serve her better. And we'll do just a quick comparison right now, just for fun. And I also have a standard incandescent bulb as well, just so we can kind of see the difference. I'll shut this light off over here. Yeah, and I'll shut this one off. And I'll shut that one off. I just don't want to shut too many off because I have to actually see what I'm doing, which would be helpful. Kind of feel, you never put your finger in a socket, right? But I'm trying to feel kind of where it's at. So this is, and watch, I won't be able to get it in there because it's kind of on a weird angle. Let me tilt this back a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be tilting down all the way. Something else that I'll have to check. So this is Bobbie's light. I'm not even going to twist it in, I'm just going to push it in to make contact. So it's doing a real good job in my opinion. And I don't have it rotated all the way into the housing. But that's Bobbie's. Here's a standard incandescent bulb. Let me move that foot controller out of the way. Standard incandescent bulb, which I will not hold my finger too long because it will end up getting really hot and burn me. And then I'll put my bulb in. As I lose my finger up in the housing. And this is my bulb. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion at least, my bulb definitely beats these other two bulbs out as far as the brightness factor. So I'll definitely, when this machine is complete, I'll send it back with her original bulb and leave my bulb in it because it's going to put out a substantial more amount of light. I'll kind of shut the light off behind me as well, and you can kind of see it in near darkness. Entire bed lit up, needle area lit up, just phenomenal. I really am a believer now in these LED lights. They do a fabulous job. All right, let me get the lights back on, and I will shut off this light for right now. And I don't know if we have any songs left or not. Yeah, we have one more. I think this is going to be a little bit peppy. It's called Sing Swing Bada Bing. And the last one before that was Home. All right, here we go. Last song. All right, let's fire this machine up and see how it does. All right, I'm going to shut this off for a second. So you remember me saying that the machine felt stiff, right, as I was turning the balance wheel in that? And we do have the needle position, we do have the take-up arm at the highest position. And when I push down the foot controller, watch and listen. That's all the way down, folks. It's improving a little bit as I work the motor more, but for that foot controller being all the way down, there we go. Now it's starting to loosen up. I'm just doing this for a little bit to see if this thing starts to get hot. Again, we have no way of knowing what this foot controller is rated at. And obviously it's not sewing under a load right now, it's just sewing freely. So well, so far nothing noticeable. It's not heating up right away, but again, we're sewing at full speed. If we were to sew at real slow speed, where that this thing doesn't really have a lot of control. I'm trying to control it here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it at a slow speed and to sew, and it has like a spot where it'll start to kick in, but then it goes all the way. It just kicks in right away, so the control factor of this foot controller is not really super. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Because again, as you're using a foot controller, if you hold that foot controller back and you sew real slow and maintain that slow sewing for quite a while, it's going to build up electricity in the fields of the foot control. It's going to tend to generate heat and make that foot controller start to superheat basically when you're sewing at slow speeds. That's particularly true of the Bakelite foot controllers because they have carbon stacks in them, but it's true of other ones as well. And you can't feel it with your hand, but I'm actually starting to feel this thing warming up. Even after just probably about a minute of slow sewing. So I'll do more testing on this, and it's possible James or Bobbie might also know when they bought this originally as a replacement for this 230, what the seller of it said it was rated at, whether it was bought new or secondhand or whatever. And if you're not familiar with the 230s or really any of the models in this era, the top comes off very easily, and you're able to then get a real good look at the cam stack, at the controls under the machine, at the fine tuners over here, and also able to look down at the top of the belts as well, at those cleated belts. And actually I'll come off the tripod real quick because I just think it's cool to watch a machine operate, and especially with these cleated belts, it's a lot of fun to watch. I'll go ahead and put on one of the tunes again for us. So again, all in all, this machine by Bobbie has been maintained well. You can see there's a little bit of varnishing here, but nothing substantial. Nothing even close to what we just saw on that 301 that came out of Florida that belongs to Maddie, where, I mean, just all over the place. It was caked with varnishing and dirt and gook. So this machine either has not been used a lot, but it sounds like it has, but it's definitely been maintained well. And that's nothing against Maddie, nothing against her at all. It's just saying that every machine is different, and some of them are even more prone to getting dirty easier. So, but here you can see the fine tuners, and these fine tuners are used to adjust the cam stitch output. You see the little screws on this end, and these can be adjusted up or down. You see this one is up quite a ways to change the appearance of the cam generated stitches. Because again, this 230 is not gonna, you don't have to put a cam into it. It's already got the cams engineered into the machine. I know, the Germans are smart. I'm gonna shut off that music real quick so we can listen to this. I love music, but I also love the music of the machine too. Yeah, see the compatibility factor of the foot controller when you're trying to go real slow. Watch how far I'm pushing it down before it finally engages. You have to go all the way down to there, and it's still not fully engaged yet. Now we're moving. So I'm about 60 to 70% of the way down before the foot controller even engages the motor. So yeah, not ideal, not ideal. I'm going to go ahead and increase the speed. So we're at full power right now. All in all, it sounds really good. I'm not hearing any metal to metal. I'm not hearing anything else that is horribly alarming. Look at that take-up arm go. Holy mackerel. Again, notice while I'm running it like this, that presser foot is in the up position. Otherwise, those feed dogs are going to be digging into the bottom of that presser foot and damage it. I guess I'm easily entertained. I just find it fascinating. Oh yeah, the foot controller is getting warm. I could do a temp test on it, but it should be it should maintain an ambient temperature for the room, and it's definitely warmer than that. Definitely warmer. What I'm seeing another note here. Needle does not stay in other position. I'm not sure what that means, but oh, it's offset a little bit. So that should be right now. I should have it. Where am I? Should have it at the center position. That's the needle alignment. So center, left, and right. We go back to center. Should be center right there. How centered is that needle? I wonder if that's what Bobbie is saying. It might be. Yeah, the needle might be bent. We don't know. But that needle is definitely not. It's not centered. It's just slightly off to the right. Seeing how far off it is. That would be really close to center right there. So it's probably about 1 to 2 millimeters off. About 1 to 2 millimeters. And that should be far, let's see here. Oh, I see why. There we go. It was set on 0 for the stitch width, so I was like, why isn't it further over to the left? Because it's set on 0, so. But that still is not going quite as far over as it should. Set that on 0 on here. So we have that set on 0. Actually, it's not. It's on 0, and still the needle is not aligned. It's not aligned correctly. Just a hair off to the right, but again, that may not be the machine. That might be the needle is bent. So get that on 0. That's on 0. Just curious to take a look at needle swing real quick. So I've got it set on stitch width, maximum stitch width, maximum stitch length. I'm just going to see how far that needle swings. Just curious. So on the right side it looks really good. Right side looks like it's pretty much spot on as far as the and when I say spot on, I'm looking at it's at the widest it's at the widest stitch width, and I'm looking at the opening of the throat plate in relation to where that needle is right now at the lowest position as it's going to clear that throat plate, and that looks like it's pretty much on. But when we go to the left, oh wow, this is not good. I'm going to do a temp on this foot controller real quick. So we go left. Yeah, that's not as bad as I thought. That actually looks pretty good. So right now I'm feeling a foot controller as we've been kind of activating the machine off and on, and we haven't been running it that heavily. Let me get my temp gun and see what kind of temp we're getting off of this foot controller right now. Almost 100 degrees. Yeah, so my suspicions seem to have merit. My suspicions seem to have merit because the temperature in this room right now is probably about 73 degrees. Yeah, and we're letting it cool off right now too. Look at that. (130 degrees). (138 degrees). Yeah, we have a problem. I'll talk to James and Bobbie, but this foot controller is definitely an issue. We should not be hitting temperatures of close to 140 degrees, operating the machine as minimally as we have. Yeah, not good, not good. And it's hot to the touch. I can't even keep my hand on there. It's that hot. Yeah, so there's no substitute for experience, and I kind of was questioning that as I started to pull this machine out of there as we were unboxing it, and yeah, not good. And again, if you're wearing shoes, well, it's really hot on that side. If you're wearing shoes, you're probably not going to notice. You're not going to notice that the foot controller is superheating. And we're not operating at all right now, and it's still over 100 degrees. So we hit almost 140 degrees. Yeah, that is, holy mackerel. Woo! It's hot on the bottom as well. So there you go. It's our unboxing of James and Bobbie's FOF 230, which will be a fabulous machine to get all set up and get it done so that Bobbie can resume her work with these toiletry bags for the homeless, which I think is just fabulous that she's willing to devote her time and talent to doing that. I'm gonna actually, before I get distracted, I'm actually going to unplug this because it's still, we haven't been running the machine for how long? And we're still at almost 100, well, we are at 120 degrees. Yep, so let me unplug this. Hold on a second real quick, so that we don't have smoke and fire. And I would say, as a general rule, and I don't know that I've ever mentioned this, maybe I have, but as a general rule, you do not want to leave your sewing machine plugged in when you're not actively using it. If you're just stepping out of the room to grab something or whatever, but if you're going out on errands and you're going to be gone for a couple of hours or something like that, I would definitely recommend shutting your machine off, particularly if it has an aftermarket foot controller like this. There have been house fires as a result of someone leaving a sewing machine plugged in, so you don't want to risk that. It's important that you're there to monitor it, you know, when it's plugged in, and it takes what, 2 seconds to plug it in. So I would just go with better safe than sorry. But at any rate, this is going to be a great project, and I want to thank James and Bobbie for, as fellow Wisconsinites, for taking the time and effort to and making the investment to send the machine here to the workshop. I'm going to definitely give it my best, as I always do, to get this machine doing exactly what it needs to be doing, so that Bobbie can get back to her work in helping the homeless. All right, that's it. Blah, 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 blah. So, I should, yeah, you're right. I should do that. And I won't be working alone either, because mein Freund from Deutschland, Herr Obermeister, will be stepping in alongside of me and helping me, because he knows these machines inside out and upside down. You know, he spent all of his life pretty much in Germany until he moved here to the workshop to join us. And so he's a great resource. Not that Dr. Singer isn't a great resource, not that Mr. Bean isn't a great resource as well. Where is Mr. Bean? Oh, okay, he's behind his sewing machine. Are you getting ready for a project, Mr. Bean? Top secret, what does that mean? Oh, okay, I got it. You're back to one of your movies where you're like Johnny English or something, right? Are you Johnny English right now? Because if you're Johnny English, we need to end with this song. We're going to try to end with that song, maybe. Obermeister, he has such a serious look, doesn't he? Almost kind of scary. All right, well, God bless, and remember, you're never old until regrets take the place of your dreams. So hang on to your dreams, and more importantly, take action on them. And that's what this song is all about, is action. Oh yeah. Ho 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 ho!